Catus, Maximus here. Now, I've done a video about this earlier about Crescent wrench, the old original Jamestown, versus after Crescent got bought out, and they're still made in America, but the plant was moved out of Jamestown. And they're not even made in the United States anymore. They're all made overseas. But the last of the USA ones was not as good or as well fit and finished as the original Jamestown. Well, I've since discovered that there's actually an old school Jamestown, a first generation, or it may be a second generation, and a newer Jamestown. We call these Jamestown wrenches because they say Jamestown, New York on them. But what I was noticing is I found, and these are all 12-inch, so they're all the same size Crescent wrenches, is I ran into this one. This is a manufactured by Crescent Tool Company, and it's a bit older. We know because it's saying Crescent Tool Company instead of saying just Crescent. The second thing is this has, the AT112. This actually has a part number on it, where this unit does not have a part number. It just says drop forged steel, made USA. And this one just says Crescent on both sides, or Crescent on both sides. And actually, this one does say Crescent Tool Company too. It's just that it has a part number on it. So let me clear up that mistake. But it does not say drop forged steel on it. So I thought that was a little curious. But really what caught my attention is how much heavier this older school one is. Now this did have polished sides, but it's just a petite on there. And we'll call these now original, and I did oil this up, wide jaw. You can see both of these have the more squared off jaws. These are really well manufactured. You can see how even that is with the broaching, unlike that Williams. But what we can obviously see here is just how much wider that track is. If we line these up, it's just way thicker. If we line up the jaws here, I'll do it this way. We can see the jaws are just much more massive. So you could say, that they're narrower on the newer ones to make them fit in more places, and that is possible. But really, I think it's just cheapifying the wrench. Reducing the width of the head saves quite a bit of steel. But I can see why the early ones, why you would want wide jaws. It just gives you more surface area since you're only working with mainly two surfaces on an adjustable wrench. It's nicer to actually have wider jaws so that you have maximum contact or full contact with the fastener. And I will say that the jaws on this old one are really, really tight. They're even better than they are on this new one, although or newer one, that is in like new condition. That's nothing compared to, say, the last of the USA ones, which are just not broached as well. The jaws are really pretty thin, I think, and if we do a comparison here, we can see the jaws got even thinner here. They're decent here, and then they're just extra thick on the wide head. And so that was the whole purpose of this video, was just saying that, showing, and people actually kind of enjoyed my Crescent Jamestown versus the last of the Crescent USA. What I didn't know is that this is a newer generation Jamestown, and that the older generation ones just had a much thicker head, much more steel up here, just much heavier duty. It almost looks weird when you look at some parts of this wrench. When you see it, you say, wow, that's just a really beefy adjustable wrench. I mean, there's a lot of steel in this broaching in the slot to really prevent it from deforming or having any issues. So now there's something to keep an eye out for when you're finding old adjustable wrenches, particularly Crescents. The newer USA ones are only okay. They're just basic. The Jamestown ones are really nice. But then there's the true nice ones, which are the wide jaw Jamestowns. And actually, when I discovered this, when I went and compared it to this Jamestown and realized that this is a older wide jaw, I did go back, did spend a little bit of money, 30 bucks, but it turns out that they had this 15-inch old school wide jaw Jamestown. This is only 3-inch longer than these, so 15-inch versus 12-inch. But the head is just absolutely massive. There's like some huge jump in scaling when you went to the 15-inch. And knowing that this is a wide jaw, we know it's wide. There's my thumb. This is only a 15-inch wrench, and that jaw is as wide as my thumb. Another thing you should know is that buying old crescent wrenches is good. They were one of the earliest manufacturers to advertise. In 1909, they were advertising using alloy steel for the movable jaw, which made sense because there's so much stress it wouldn't have been able to handle carbon steel. And then soon thereafter, they started making the whole wrench out of alloy steel. So you should know that even a 110-year-old crescent wrench is going to have alloy steel manufacturing, at least in the movable jaw at a minimum, and then the newer ones, the entire wrench is. So anyway, that's my little video. You want to keep your eye out if you're looking at these old ones and the Jamestown ones. Just remember that they actually say drop forged steel on them, where the newer Jamestowns don't. They also don't have a part number, and they have these really, really extra wide jaws. Once again, look at the scaling, just a 3-inch longer handle, and it's like twice as much steel in the head on this 15-inch. But this right here has as much metal as I'm sure a modern overseas made 15-inch wrench would have. So there you have it. If you really want the good crescent wrenches, you'll find one of these old school wide jaw ones. Never seen an adjustable wrench with jaws as proportionately wide as these. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.